And welcome back to round number 3 of the Xenon Gaming Series Spring Burst Qualifier number 2. My name is once again Nomical, being joined by a different duo this time.
Yeah.
It's going to be Enteritus.
Mhm.
The pleasure is all mine to be joining you this evening. It's a pleasure to be casting with you. And how are you doing this evening, sir? I know we haven't casted together
I'm
before. Apologies.
it has been a minute. But I always love doing a good nomical cast. You're always a blast to cast with, and we have a good game tonight. You want to go ahead and take us to that?
Oh, indeed. Yes, we do. It's going to be Temper Black versus BWH. We're going to take a look at the rosters and see what we're looking at for this evening. For Temper Black, it's going to be Valen, Millies, Clutter, Lunar, and Benny. And for BWH, it's going to be Joe, Mike W, Nilek, Snoopy, and Slothy. What do you know about these guys?
Well, at least on the bros side, I did actually get to cast them a couple days ago. On a different league. And they had a lot of issues. I don't know if it was just that game, or what it was. Obviously, they also weren't playing with Slothy. And I don't think Mike W was there either. But they were struggling with a lot of just fundamental stuff. So I really hope to not see that tonight. As for the Timber Black side, I don't know a whole lot about some of the players. I've seen Clutter and Lunar. Valen's a player I don't recognize. Millie's not either. So I'd like to see a good performance coming out of them. And I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. See what they're able to pull out.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. But speaking of interesting, let's take a look at these map bans. And I've got a feeling it's going to be a little bit interesting for this as well.
Oh yeah.
Indeed, it's going to be Skyscraper off the board first. Not too surprised by that. It's a map that a lot of teams don't necessarily like, but Oregon off the board early surprises me a little bit. That's more of the default style map that a lot of teams do tend to
Yeah.
crutch on, especially in qualifiers because it's kind of equal for both teams. But as we round out the band phase, it's going to be Cafe and Chalet, Bank, Nighthaven, and it's going to leave us with Consulate. That's an interesting one in Terratus.
Yeah, I mean, Consulate is definitely one that we don't get to see very often. But we're gonna see it right now as we're gonna go ahead and jump in the game here. And we're gonna see, like I said, something we don't get to see very often. I personally don't think I've done a Consulate cast since it's joined the map pool. It's not something that a lot of teams like to bring because it's such a weird play style. You have to do a lot of extra stuff on attack. And with it being kind of a newer map, teams aren't used to it. It hasn't really joined the map pool, kind of like Nighthaven has, sort of. But we're gonna go ahead and get out to bans. As Ying's gonna be the first one off the board. We're probably gonna see default bans: Ying, Dokebi, Solus, and maybe Fenrir or Tuberhouse. I forgot his name for a second.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Solus and Fenrir, the two
Yeah,
most banned defenders, along with Azami, throughout these
yeah.
qualifiers so far. And well, there's no surprise that Ying and likely Dokubi here are the two most banned attackers. But whoa, it's going to be
Ooh,
Flores off the board. That's a fun one. We don't see that a lot, but I do actually like that ban. It's one of the more prominent utility clear
yeah.
operators nowadays, especially with the nerf to frag grenade. You see Flores' pick rate has skyrocketed recently.
Yeah, I mean, it might be just a thing because there's a lot of smaller hallways, there's a lot of tight corners. You're able to work with that drone a lot more. There's not these long angles you have to deal with. And with Soul Assault Board, I'm not a surprised one. But like I was saying, with the Flores one, you have those tight angles, so it's a lot easier to maneuver the drones towards where you want it to go. You don't have to deal with the long angles having to drive straight up. And so it makes it honestly a really good band that like I said, I haven't seen this map too often, so I'm not too sure what the meta bans are. As Fender is going to fall off the board as well. Something like I said, I wasn't surprised to see.
Yeah, and with Fender off the board, that is going to leave the Azami available. A lot
Yeah,
of teams will probably bring Azami, specifically these two teams as we look into round number one. We're going to head to Garage. I feel like this is probably one of the strongest sites on this map for Azami because of how many different long lines of sight you have with places such as Spiral Stairs and even the construction area back by server. There's a lot of different spots, and even in the site itself, that you can use those Kiva barricades to try and make things a
Attackers
lot
need to
safer for
locate and
yourself.
defuse
And
bombs.
even remember, you can use Zombie vertically. So if the attacker
yeah.
gets control of piano, you can use it there as well.
And I gotta say, I
Bomb
really
located
like
by
this
attackers.
comp because, at least to me, basement seems like more of a TDM site than it is a setup site. You're not playing too much of your utility. A lot of it's just long angles, having to take those fights. And so seeing this kind of lineup, you got that Warden who's got honestly probably one of the best just TDM operators right now with his kit and with his gun and his 1.5 that looks like they're losing potentially soon. But like I said, the rest of the lineup, I really like to see, and it looks like they know what they're
5
doing.
seconds left before insertion.
And remember, with that Flores ban, that does leave
Attackers are
Dokkaebi on the
moving
board,
to
and
defuse a bomb.
with that
Yeah,
Dokkaebi, that's going to be
yeah.
big, especially because of the fact that you have Valkyrie on the board with Lunar. So if they can get an opening pick on the side of BWH, they can get those cams, they can get those black eye cameras, and they can use it to try and gain some extra information on Tempr, especially if those cams are placed near the site. That could be a big chess piece later on in the game. And for the moment, it looks like BWH are going to go for a top-down clear. That doesn't really surprise me just because of how it plays out. Even on the basement, you need to do a
Oof.
top-down clear and make sure you don't get flanked. But Clutter is going to start things off, takes out the Amaru,
Attackers have
and
dropped the bomb
well, that's
diffuser.
going to mean that BWH are going to have to play things a little bit slower. They don't exactly know where Temper's playing, and they don't even have the man advantage to work with. But another fight comes in as Nilek is able to equalize before C4 deletes most of his health bar. And he's somehow alive, even though there's a player atop a spiral. It's going to be Clutter trying to cross over, and he's going to get picked off from inside a lounge. Man advantage now in favor of BWH.
And they're doing a really good job of taking these fights and making sure that they're setting each other up for trades. Unfortunately, they weren't able to trade out Clutter there. They've already lost 2 players, but they have been able to waste a little bit of time on Bro's side. As the floor is going to go ahead and start getting opened up, finally getting stuck on that rotate. But he's getting himself a good place as the grenade's going to go out, get rid of that Cade claw on the wall, and see if they can't find themselves a little bit of space on site.
Yeah, and as the round starts to progress, the fact that Valen and Lunar have also used their C4s, there's only one left out of the 3 potential left in the pocket of Benny. That's going to be a little bit more of a challenge for Tempr to try and deny any potential plants that come in. Of course, they still do have information, and I believe they've tricked out some of the Harbors. No, actually, Joe still has all 3 of his Selmas in pocket, but Snoopy goes big, finds another kill, takes out Valen, and Tempr Black are now significantly on the back foot. They're going to have to try to get aggressive. They're going to have to try to find themselves a hole to try and bring this round back, because if they just sit back and wait, BWH can simply watch the angles, get the plan down, and force Tempr Black into a spot that they really don't want to be in. Snoopy finding one of those cameras, and BWH are doing a really good job of pressuring onto the site right now.
With the canovers off the board, they're going to have to use just a lot of soft destruction, but it's going to be Joe getting another kill. Getting that Benny down as it's up to Lunar now, potentially a 1v3 if they can finish off Slothy, but he's going to be picked up. Nilek's going to finish off that kill, walking up and taking that player, trying to rotate back upstairs. They're going to be finding themselves the first win with 4 players alive.
That's what I like to call a statement round for the side of
Yeah.
BWH, because of the fact that not only, like you said, they only lost 1 body, but they did that on probably one of the stronger sites while attacking on Consulate onto that basement
Yep.
garage. So BWH looking good so far. I want to see if they can keep this momentum going as we go through the full site rotation. And we're going to head upstairs for
Attackers
round
need
number
to
2.
locate and
I
defuse bombs.
feel like this site actually is a little bit stronger overall, just because of the fact that you can play it a little bit more, I would say, aggressively. You don't have to worry
Yeah.
about as many long angles and being pushed out from vertical spots. So I like the fact that Tempr are going to go ahead and switch us up and go to a different site rather than trying to attempt that basement site when they thoroughly got pretty well dominated.
Yeah, and looks like they're going to be trying to play somewhat over on admin side, trying to set up right there in break room so that they can just, kind of hold down that push from admin side so that they can hold that hallway. That hallway's a really big part of this map. It lets you be able to actually hold meeting, because if you don't, you got to deal with both the big double door right there and that little side hallway door. But as long as you can lock down that hallway like they're trying to do, makes it a lot easier for them to actually be able to hold this site. Because let's be real, B site isn't that important to hold. You can play off of head holes, you can play underneath using C4s to prevent any plants, and you can play out of a yellow. So they're going to be looking to do that and see if they can't take this round here.
Yeah, and like you were talking about with that main hallway, you've got Millie as the perfect operator to try and hang on to it.
Yeah.
He's got that Warden who can, not be affected by any different types of flash and smoke utility that they throw in. Now, BWH don't have any flash grenades in this round, instead opting for double frag grenades, but they do have a set of smoke grenades in the back pocket of Mike W, so could still potentially see some effect with the Warden, but not going to be as crucial as potentially other rounds you might see. It's about a minute in now. BWH don't really have much going for them, except for the fact that they've worked Nilek downstairs into customs, and now Snoopy's working his way into admin. He might have a pickoff on the Azami, but no, the pick just doesn't actually work out in his favor, and the Azami is going to be able to block it off, make it a little bit harder for him to work his way in without giving up some sound cues. And I like the fact that Tempur are falling back when they need to, just playing the positions that they know they must hold rather than trying to over-aggress.
Not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of this Miller's hold right here in that corner. He kind of locks him down. He can't rotate out because he's got to deal with that long hallway, and his only rotate out really is towards Spiral. Place that defenders can't hold very well with that hatch in the roof still up there. So I'm not a big fan of him holding that shield, but it looks like they have some sort of setup for him. As like I said, Slothy's right here. This is what I'm talking about. This is the attackers. They're gonna have to hold it as a grenade's gonna go out. Slothy's gonna die, but that nade's gonna clear the shield on Millie's and take a lot of bit of damage on him as he's gonna try to fall back, but he's gonna fall down to a double kill to Lunar and another one going down to Joe. There's only one player left alive as he's able to find one. He's looking for those other two. He's already disrupted the attack. He's gonna have to continue disrupting if he wants to clutch this round. He's gonna go ahead and swing. Smokes goes down. They're trying to find this diffuse, but they hear Clutter walking around to the smoke. Looking to see if they can't find him, as they're going to open up a little bit more of the hallway and get a little bit of a shot towards him, but he's going to move out of the space of that smoke. Joe's going to find him in his line of sight as they're going to find themselves in round number 2.
Well, what I said in the start of that round was incorrect. It seems like BWH are just that good on the attack. They've now won the 2 primary attacking sites that are mostly defensive side, excuse me. We're going to head back up to console office and meeting room now, and Timber Black are going to look to try and right the wrongs of the last round. They're going to bring out pretty well the exact same lineup, and I feel like the lineup isn't necessarily the problem. I feel like I said in the last round, I don't necessarily know if them falling back so early is a great idea because of the fact that they're letting BWH have so much map control for free. They're not exactly doing the best at challenging onto these early aggressive plays that we see players like Nilek, who is currently 4-1, going for.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few other issues. I'm not a big fan of the Wamai play here. I think Jaeger would fill that a lot better because like I said, you really don't have anything to help that Warden. If you're gonna put him in a kind of crappy spot like that, where he can't really rotate out anywhere, he can't fall back. All he can do is fall back to that vending machine. At the very least, give him an ADS to mess off with. But they're gonna have to use those Warden canisters, and I don't see the appeal to it personally. I think there's a lot better plays here, or just get rid of that shield on the hallway, move it towards that doorway, and play out of Spiral. Try to take that control. They're just not doing that. Whatever decisions they've decided to make for that, it doesn't look like it's working so far.
Well, for the moment, you see 3 different players aggressing onto this Visa position. You've got Millie's just sitting inside of Visa itself. You've got Benny down below looking to address any potential roam that comes in, or roam clearer that comes in from BWH. And then, of course, you've got Valen playing up above, playing very aggressively inside of this vending position, trying to deny any push into admin, but he's actually rotated back, and he's going to deny Slothy there. One of the Kiva barricades is going to get burned out for free by that sledgehammer, and that might be a little bit of a misuse of the utility by the side of Valen. We'll see exactly where he decides to put out the other 3 that he currently has in pocket as the round progresses, and Benny might have the opportunity here to go for a run out. He's going for it, and he's going to find the kill. It took him a second, but he is able to take out Snoopy. That's the Dokubi off the board. That's your main roam clear assist. That's a big pick in favor of Tempur Black, and he might have a second one, but no, he loses it to the Twitch. Mike W with the equalizer.
This is the second round that they've had where they've lost a key player. In that first round, they lost that Amaru. She had those can openers. They had to rely on the ace, and he's not a great option for hatches. They've gotten the trade in both ones, but you've lost a key player. You've lost to Kebi here. You've lost a lot of information. That shield's going to be lost as well, as he's going to throw a nade. Actually, I don't think that hit it. Pretty sure there's a hard wall there. But Slothy's looking for a kill now. He's trying to see if he can't find someone through this bathroom window.
Yeah, the good news for the side of BWH is the fact that Nilek still does have 2 nades in pocket trying to deal with that shield, but they don't really have much other than that. There is a lot to worry about for the side of the defense too. You've got the Kiva barricades, you've got 2 shields, you've got Lunar and Millies who have both placed shields around the map. I believe the second one is in that vending position, but you've got Slothy working his way into top yellow, looking to take a fight with the player inside of Connector. They have the ping on the player, but the coverage is good from Lunar sitting outside of that bathroom position, and Tempur comes alive with a flurry of kills. It's all up to Mike W, who's good for 1, and he's just inside of the site. He's all alone. He's got the F2 gun that we don't see very often in hand. He picks up a second. He's going to need an ace clutch, but he's got 3 out of the 5 needed so far. He's got 25 seconds to work with, but prone on the floor is Lunar, who's good enough to shut him down. And finally, Tempr Black get their first round.
And I really like that bathroom coverage they had set up. They had Clutter holding that window, and they had him holding through the bathroom doorway, allowed Clutter to kind of take that phantom pressure towards it, so that they're looking towards the shield. They're worried that someone's sitting around the shield, someone's going to swing it, instead of worrying about that bathroom head hole that they had there. That was just incredibly well played by Tipper Black there.
Attackers need to
Doing a good
locate and
job on that
defuse as
bathroom
many
side.
bombs as they
But
can.
for the most part, that was just them gunning them down. Temper or it seems like Bros kind of just walked into them. They felt a little bit overconfident there. They were just taking fights that they realistically shouldn't have. Even if you're close enough to trade, there are some fights you shouldn't be taking. You shouldn't be losing, like I said, that Dokebi at the early round. That's a lot of information. You can't clear anymore with just making a call. You have to rely on your drones. And if you're not droning properly, it makes it very hard for them to actually be able to do anything. And then the other one was Sledge sitting on that window.
10 seconds
Like,
left.
they have their main space maker trying to play off of a
5
window
seconds to
and walking
insertion.
in yellow without anyone to follow behind him. Looked a little bit sloppy in that
Attackers
last
are
one.
moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Well, the good news for BWH is the fact that they have gotten 2 attacking rounds. And typically on a map like
Yeah.
Consulate, you want to get, 2 to 3. You can suffice with 1, but of course BWH already have the 2, so that's not a question anymore. We need to see Timber Black start to string these rounds together and really put together an advantage for themselves heading into their own attacks. And interestingly enough, in this round, we're going to head to Expo, and we're going to have the Ram on the board as well as the Sled. So a lot of vertical game being emphasized for both teams in this round. You can see players such as Benny try and hang on to this top yellow position, and they really don't want to let players like Mike W and Slothy into the building, because once they do, it's pretty well game over for the chances of the players sitting on site.
There's a little bit of a slow round right now. Cooper is being allowed to move around this first floor without any drones going out towards him, and not without anything really being pressured onto them. They're giving a lot of freedom here, and it seems like Bro is just trying to clear top floor, see what they can find, and try to
Attackers
get
have
these
located a
players in the
bomb.
building.
Did we lose the game? I
I
believe.
unfortunately did.
I think we might have lost the game. I can't see anything. I'm frozen on Valen's point of view. Can, can you see what's going on?
No, I cannot. But
It sounds like a sledge.
yeah, they're. It sounds like they're making 4 holes, which they've been doing. The Sledge has been trying to set up any angles that he can find in the previous rounds, and that they're trying to see if they can't make any space.
Well, of course, making space is the name of the game for the attack. You need to force your way in. You need to force the defenders out of position and gain yourselves as much map control as possible,
Attackers'
as
bomb
quickly
diffuser
as
has been
possible.
dropped.
And it sounds like the attackers just lost the diffuser. Players dying on the side of the attack. And still can't see what's going on. Give us just a moment, folks. We're working on it. We will hopefully be able to see the game again. I don't know if you guys can see the game, but Enteradus and I are having an interesting time listening to sounds. I guess we could talk a little bit about how this site itself tends to play out. You have, of course, the players playing up in CEO who are trying to hang on to the top floor. And I think we're
Oh, we're
back again.
back. We're so
Yeah,
back.
we are so back. Looks like Tempr actually did win the round. Unfortunately, didn't get to see it, so I don't have any notes for you on how they won the round or how that played out. But I'm going to assume they were able to kill players such as Mike W and Slothy, who were really the key factors of that round.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. We got a Pulse in this round. We don't see Pulse a lot very more, but Consulate, a very good map for Pulse because of the fact that you can see players with that heartbeat all the way to the top floor.
Yeah. Because of the range on it, you can get a lot of utility out of it, and it's just an incredible gadget to be able to use. And he's got that C4 as well. With all so many of these floors being soft, you can get some pretty crazy kills as they're, like you said, going down to that basement. They're still gonna have to deal with those soft floors, and similar to the side above. You have to get those floors open. You can hopefully clear those players off of Pillar, who's currently Milla's playing right there on that doorway off of right around Pillar. If he can kind of sit there and bunker down, makes it so much easier for him to actually be able to hold.
Well, for the moment, it looks like BWH are going to be working their way into the middle floor. They're going to have multiple different defenders to worry about. I can't quite see who it is, but Valen's going to find the opening pick on a run out from the secret area. He's not going to get much more than that, however, as Snoopy is going to trade him out. And if they read it correctly, they could get the cameras. They could get access to the black eye cams that have been placed around the map. Don't know if Snoopy's actually worked his way into position or actually realized that he can do that. So we'll see if he comes back to do that later on. But for the moment, they're going to have full secret control. And they're going to start to work their way in on the side of the attack towards that server position. And for the moment, it seems like BWH are going to focus their attack on a backside take.
I'm not a big fan of this backside take. I won't lie to you, Nomical. It's really hard to be able to get out of that electrical room. Even if you aren't actually holding us, he's just going to drop the hatch. Slothy's looking for two, but he's only able to find one as Benny's going to be able to trade him back. The man count's going to go back to even, but that's a lot of damage. You've lost Millis, who is holding that, like I said, stronghold right there on Pillar. It's going to be up to Benny to hold it solo, and he's going to have to hold that breach. As Don Snoopy's going to walk up and take down Lunar. And man count goes back towards Bro's side. He's looking for a third. Joe's going to find one before getting taken out by Clutter. And Mike W's going to finish it off with a flurry of trades.
Flurry of trades is the best way I could have put it myself. And, well, it favors BWH in the end. They're looking really good on these attacks, I got to tell you, especially because of the fact that that backside take actually ended up working well because of the fact that it shifted the focus of Tempr towards those players and it enabled the player to drop from the hatch into the site and find a kill, which created chaos. And in the chaos, it enabled BWH to find more kills, giving them the round.
Attackers need to locate
I mean,
and defuse
Timber Black, they
bombs.
have to be confused as to how they lost control of their site, especially because of the fact that you had Benny who had retaken that pillar position, which is really crucial to hanging on to the site. But we'll shift our focus to this round. We'll head upstairs, and here's another operator that we don't see a lot. It's going to be the Rooney.
Yeah, I mean, she's just so hard to deal with, and especially with the with the new operator. Oh God, I've done it again. Who can take control of gadgets? Get me out here.
Brava?
Brava, thank you.
10 seconds remaining.
Who's able to take
Bomb
control of
located by
gadgets.
attackers.
And it makes it hard to play a
5
Rooney
seconds
because
to
if
go.
anyone's able to spot that, obviously they haven't brought it here, but if they were able to spot that, it makes it so much harder for defenders to be able to play because it goes from, hey, we have this place we set up that we can get up to, and oh no, Ilek's gonna take down Valen, and that's a Rooney off the board. No more barricades going as he's gonna drop a question mark in chat.
Yeah, like you said, the Azami there, such a bad operator to lose so early on because
Yeah.
those Kiva barricades now will not be able to generate, won't be able to get thrown out. And I don't even know if Valen put any of his Kiva barricades out before the round started because he might have been focused on that spawn peak. But speaking of spawn peaks, Millie's going to run out and find a kill on a Slothy. The Twitch now off the board, which means a lot of that utility is going to be allowed to survive. Especially crucial because of the fact that you have that Wamai to worry about, and now you're only going to be able to spot them. You won't be able to necessarily kill them with gadgets because of the fact that you do have the IQ. But, I mean, no Brava? It's concerning. Very concerning for the side of the attack.
Yeah, I mean, it probably would have been filled by Slothy anyway, and he's dead. So, it probably wouldn't have ended up being able to do anything. They probably could have cleared it with the with any utility. You can throw smoke at it, whatever. It drops for like 45 seconds, whatever the number is. But it makes it a lot harder for them to be able to use. And as Biddy's gonna almost fall to that floor hole, is Mike an interesting little angle right there. Able to cut off that rotate. As Joe's gonna fall down. He hasn't fully died, but he's been dropped, and he's gonna get picked back up. He's gonna be at 20 health. As Don Stoopy's looking to find one, but Clutter is gonna be able to take him out and get back with his light.
Yeah, that was a very big kill for the side of Clutter because of the fact that no more Dokkaebi on the board. It's going to mean the defenders can potentially play a lot more aggressively, a lot more free, especially if they decide to challenge players such as Mike W on this first floor. He won't know that they're coming, and I have to wonder if they actually decide to go for a flank because of the fact that they've given up a lot of control, especially in admin. They need to try and find a spark to bring it back. But the good news is for them is they still do have Millies playing on that vending position. Really deny any sort of push into the site from that side of the map. Without smokes, it's going to be so hard to clear him and so hard to get in. But look at this, Mike W just going for the challenge. It's going to take him out potentially as a second. There you go, a triple kill for Mike W before Clutter finds one of his own, and Joe cleans up the round. BWH secure a 4-2 half and firmly cement themselves in the lead in this map.
I know we were talking about this a little bit behind the scenes before the game. These players coming out from Bro are a team that are willing to bring people to weird maps like Consulate. It's beautiful to see them doing well in it because it shows that, hey, some players aren't comfortable with it, but we're comfortable with whatever we have to. Because it came down to the wire right there at that Nighthaven versus Consulate, and with them bringing out Consulate, a map that, like I said at the beginning, not a lot of teams play very often, and so not a whole lot of people are comfortable on it. It's nice to see them playing it well. They're doing executes that are working. It's not just, oh hey, we're walking in and gunning them down. It's not the normal prod story, or excuse me, qualifier story of hey, they're just winning these rounds because they're better gunners. They're doing excellent clears. Seeing them play off trades, almost every round has ended with trades. We saw that last one ended with a double trade where Clutter was able to pick up one before getting traded out with Joe, and then the round before as well. They're doing a good job of playing off each other, and it's what I like to see coming out from Bros.
Speaking of Bros, just taking a look at this round, we've got two different operators that I'd like to...
Ooh,
never mind. I was going to highlight the Amaru as potentially the fact that Tempr could go for a fast attack.
Caster cursed at him.
But, yeah, I did Caster curse him. No more Amaru, no more Valen in this round. He's been struggling a little bit. He's not quite having the game that he would like to have, but Clutter is going to catch Joe and punish him for swinging that and equalize us down to a 4 versus 4. Just 30 seconds in, these teams being very aggressive so far in round number 7. And I will go ahead and quickly highlight the Tachanka, bringing him instead of the smoke. Of course, it's a different style of arid and plant denial, but you do have that shield, which smoke doesn't have anymore. So that's a little bit of a bonus for bringing the Tachanka, which I do like for the side of Mike W.
Yeah, Tempr Black was trying to fill out with the frost, but like you said, they're bringing out the Tachanka. I really like to see that unique pick as a lion scan as well. Something I don't get to see too often unless they're rushing. Trying to use that for utility. I'm surprised not to see a Dokkaebi coming out from them. But it looks like he feels more comfortable on this lion as they're just kind of walking through. He's just brute forcing clearing this first floor. It doesn't look like he's going to be running into anyone from Bros. Mike's gone back up to the second floor, and they've gone and bunkered back up as Slothy is getting aggressive over on admin side. Still going to see if they can't find anyone. They're going to see if they can't walk themselves up yellow and maybe take this fight on the player in piano, but it's going to be Slothy swinging out. Benny finding a trade on Snoopy. And, no bodies falling.
He will stay down in that 3 versus 3. I Caster cursed it again as Slothy will pick up a kill on the Clutter. It's 2 versus 3 now. Make it a 1 versus 3. It's all up to Millies in the 1 versus 3. And he's got a lot of work to do if Team Tempr Black are going to get themselves back into this round. This yellow position has been so hard to clear for the side of Tempr. They have struggled for most of this round, but something I was going to say is because of the fact that BWH are a 4-2 lead on the attack, it's going to put so much pressure on Tempr to try and bring as many rounds back as possible. As Millies is going big, he's got it down to a 1 versus 1. It's all up to him, and Nilek, Millies still has that lion scan as well, so he can try to find this position. And another thing to notice is look at the drones. There's no drones, actually two drones left. One of them is in Millie's hands, but he could slow down a little bit. He's got about 20 seconds to work with. He could drone if he wants to, but he's going to try and take this face
Attackers will
check
cover the
gunfight.
diffuser.
He's going to work his way into connector. He might have the
15
read that the
seconds
player
to
is
go.
playing on that mirror window because I don't know if you heard it, but he popped it. And he's
10
going to
seconds remaining.
potentially spot the swing. Nylek spotted him for a second, but he's going to ult to play patient. And Nylek swings when Mike Mills isn't ready. And BWH win that round. Curious one at that, but Millie has put in a good effort.
And you pointed out that yellow zombie barricade was crucial for that round. It allowed Sloth to be able to play aggressive right there in piano and kind of just mess around with him, being able to walk in and out, and any coverage that they lost from losing that shield, they were
Attackers
able
need
to
to
just sit
locate
there
and
and
defuse
use.
bombs.
You're good. They're able to just sit there and use the zombie barricade to hold them back. I was surprised to see them not try to clear that with a nade. It made it so much harder for them to actually be able to walk out of yellow, and it felt like Tempur Black wasn't really ready to actually get up yellow. It seemed like they were still trying to bring themselves together, and it was kind of just a circus show of them trying to get back up there before just everyone running at Mills right there at yellow, just throwing
10
their
seconds
bodies
left
at him,
before insertion.
trying to throw that round.
5
This
seconds
seems to
left
be the
before
story
insertion.
of this qualifier so far, at least for the last game and a half or so that I've done.
Attackers are moving out to
Seems
locate
like
a
one
bomb
team
and
is just
defuse
really good at attack and the other team struggles to catch up before it gets to be too late. We'll see if Tempur Black can bring it back. They have a lot of work cut out for them. They're going to need to win 3 rounds to at least tie us up before BWH get 2 because of the fact that, remember, it's first to 7. Mike W, look at this, going for an aggressive spawn peek on the closet. Not going to find any kills, however, because it doesn't appear that Tempur Black are working their way in from that angle, and instead they're going to opt for a Visa side clear, and they're going to head into the basement. There are players on the side of BWH ready and willing to greet these players whenever the push does come in, and for the moment, it looks like we're going to have a full server push from the side of Tempur Black.
I gotta say, I really love seeing the aggression coming out from Mike W. He's been a player that's always been able to play really well with a high level of aggression. And so it's nice to see that BW is letting him have that, but it's gonna be Don Snoopy falling as he's gonna try to find a drone, but Clutter's gonna take him out. But yeah, like I was saying, I mean, it's really nice to see them giving Mike W that freedom to be able to just do the spawn peaks and play incredibly aggressive.
I mean,
It
it's
feels like he's
working.
really, yeah, he's 12-5 or 12-4. He's comfortable right now, and it's nice to see that performance coming out from him.
Yeah, and once again, we see the Amaru being brought out by Tempur Black, most likely being used for some sort of hard breach, as you don't really see the Amaru used effectively on a basement site. But Lunar is going to find the next kill
Bomb has
and
been
give Timber
located.
Black a very nice man advantage. But Slothy, was that a beautiful shot, I believe, onto Lunar, takes the Dokkaebi off the board. We haven't been able to see a lot of the Dokkaebi being used, even though she's left unbanned, which is a very rare thing right now. Just hasn't been able to stay alive for very long. Benny finds another kill. BWH falling apart, but Slothy and Mike W all come alive, both get kills. But now it's all up to Slothy in the 1 versus 2. Valen and Millies left alone to try and get onto the site. They have the site control, but they're running into Capcan traps, and if they're not careful, they both might find themselves dead. They have the site control now. They don't know if Slothy knows where both these players are at. They're going to be able to get this plant down, and Slothy's going to have to retake. Millies with the cover. The plant's going to go down here. Now
Attackers are
Slothy has the
activating
clock
bomb
working
diffuser.
against him.
Not a big fan of how separated they are, as Slothy's going to be able to see if he can't solo these or take these individual fights. Valen's real close, but he's half health. Be a very fast kill for him. And Millis is nowhere nearby to trade. As he's going to swing, he's going to look for it, he's going to fight it, but he's going to impact himself. You know, a lot of damage before he finally finishes off Valen. He's 1 bullet away from death. Millis as well, as he's going to get headshot. And Slothy's going to clutch it with a quad kill coming out from him. They're going to put BWH 6-2.
Defenders disabled the diffuser. 15
No
seconds
way that he
remaining.
just
10
won that.
seconds
He
left. 5
impacted
seconds
himself
left.
while trying to get the finish
Bomb defusing
onto the
attempt
ace.
failed.
And
Defenders win.
1 HP in a dream, well, the dream came true. He wins the round, and now BWH, 4 rounds in the lead, now just 1 round away from cementing themselves at 3-0 in this qualifier. Very beautiful stuff from them, and, well, they can get to 3-0. They'd be looking really good to qualify for closed later on this weekend.
I gotta say, I did talk about it a little bit at the pregame. Um, I didn't see a great performance coming out
Attackers
from
need to
Joe
locate and
Nilek
defuse as many
and
bombs as they can.
Don Snoopy last time I casted them a couple days ago. I'm really loving seeing what I am today. They look like the team that I expect. I'm seeing the calls coming how they should be. I'm seeing them playing a lot more comfortably, and it's just what I like. It's not just Mike W that's comfortable sitting at 13-5 now. By the way, I just like to say. Um, and even though Mike is up 13, I want to highlight Slothy. He's been a player so far that has just been consistent.
10
He's
seconds
always
left before
able
insertion.
to not just pick up those clutches like that last round with a
Attackers have discovered
quad
the
kill,
location of a bomb.
but
5 seconds to
he's
go.
that consistent player that will always, when you need
Attackers
it,
are
get that
heading out to
player
defuse
in
a
this
bomb.
game. And it's nice to see them having that kind of backing.
Mike W. For the game you're talking about, I think Mike W. wasn't on the
No,
team.
he wasn't.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
It was
But
just
yeah.
those three that I pointed
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. These guys are looking very solid together, and there's Nilek with a run out, takes out Millies. That's Finka off the board, almost as crucial to the round as someone like an Ace because of the fact that, well, if you run into something like a Lesion Mine, you can get your health back up very quickly, very effectively. And well, speaking of interesting operators, we got the Ayana on the board. Ayana, of course, used to be one of the more prevalent operators in the meta because of how powerful she was with all the gadget clearing she had, but Lunar finally brings one back for Tempr, equalizes the man count. But back to the Ayana. Not only do you see the Ayana coming out, which is something rare nowadays, or rarer, you also have him playing the ARX. Now, that might be indicating he's prepping for any potential scope changes that have been potentially talked about. I don't know if it's official. Nothing has been officially announced by Yubi, but the ARX, of course, is a very solid weapon, and personally, it's one of my favorites.
This is a very strong gun. Do have to worry about bullet count a little bit, and bullet count
True.
is not going to matter for Slothy as he's going to find another one on the clutter. But he's looking to find one, but it's going to be Nilek taking him out. Going to be able to prevent them from being able to walk up. They almost got control outside of yellow. He's not going to find it as Don Snoopy's going to take a lot of damage before taking out Valen. It's all up to Lunar here to hold the rest of this game together as they're going to jump over the balcony, and Joe's going to finish him off and go ahead and finish off this game in a bloodbath 7-2 victory.
Yeah, 7-2, and it really was, I would say, a pretty good beatdown for the side of
Yeah.
BWH. Mike W left. He had faith in his boys. He knew the game was over before the round was even over. BWH looking so very good
Yeah.
in this qualifier. They might be a force to be reckoned with as we head to close later on this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a stellar performance. It showed that they felt comfortable even on a weird map like Consulate. Like I was saying a couple of rounds ago, it's not a map that people play too often, but they played it incredibly well. I don't know if it's something that they they scrim often, but I really liked what I saw coming out from them. Tempr, on the other hand, looked shaky. It wasn't just issues with them not knowing what the map was. There were kind of basic stuff of people not following drones, and a lot of just brute force clearing it, just walking in, no drones. It was a little shaky coming out from them.
Well, the good news for Tempr is the fact that they still have a chance
Yep.
to qualify for close. They
Yep.
are now 2-1. They are definitely not out of it just yet. But like we said, BWH looking very good. That's the sign of one of the more dominant teams is the fact that they have a deep map pool. You don't necessarily
Yep.
see that from some of these teams that may or may not be, I guess, towards the top of the standings. But we've got one more game for everybody this evening. So we've got a short break, and then we'll come back. We'll round out the night with what should be a banger matchup. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
me feel alright. The temperature's rising, take me for a ride. Oh, it's so amazing, we got the chemistry. Regular highs when you give me ecstasy, yeah. Give me ecstasy, yeah. Give me ecstasy, put you in the driver's seat. Don't gotta hurry in the name of love. When you ride with me, don't gotta worry when tomorrow comes. I'll put you in the driver's seat. Don't gotta hurry, no, 'cause we stay in control in the name of love. Don't gotta work for the both of us. I'll put you in the driver's seat. Don't gotta hurry in the name of love. When you ride with me, don't gotta worry when tomorrow comes. I'll put you in the driver's seat. Don't gotta hurry now, 'cause we stay in control in the name of love.
And welcome back for our fourth and final game of the evening of the Xenon Gaming Series Spring Burst Qualifier number 2. My name is Navical, being joined once again by Enteritus. We are getting set for what should be a banger of a matchup. We've had some
Yeah.
exciting games tonight, Enteritus. How are we feeling so far?
Yeah, I mean, I really love that game, last game. It was, a little bit of a blowout, with
Yeah,
that 7-2 win, but honestly, I was really happy to see, some phenomenal Siege being played, and like you said, this should be an interesting one, with some names that I honestly haven't seen in a while.
yeah, it's a little bit of a wild card
Yeah.
matchup for us. We've got 45th Taco Truck versus Source Gaming, and we'll take
Uh,
a look at the rosters just to see who we're dealing with. And well, it's a little bit of an unknown, like we said, at least on the side of 45th Taco Truck. We've got SK, Trix, Junior, Stoll, and Kojin for the side of 45th Taco Truck. And on the side of Source Gaming, it's Spudsack, Waffle, Goose, Temp, and Angel. What do we know about them? I know Source used to be that 1 HP red roster, but 45th Taco Truck, we don't really know a ton about. At least I don't.
Yeah, like I said, some names that I haven't heard before, you haven't heard either. But SK is a name that I've heard for a minute. It's been a little while, don't get me wrong. But he was a fairly consistent player. If I remember correctly, he played that kind of soft breach role. Um, like I said, it's been a while though. Waffle's also a player from the Source Gaming side that I recognize, but some of them are people that I haven't seen before. So this should be a really interesting one because both of these teams are currently sitting at 2-1. So they lost to teams that I think you said it was Source Gaming lost to or 8-7 to Valkyrie.
No, it was
No?
actually Source Gaming. Their last matchup was 7-5 victory versus God Did Gaming on
Okay.
Clubhouse, and then 45th Taco Truck lost 7-8 versus Ultron, a team that we
That's who
saw
it was.
earlier on
There you
stream
go.
on Chalet, and
Yeah.
Chalet was no slouch of a map for Ultron. But speaking of maps such as Chalet, we'll throw it over to our map bands, and we'll see where we're going to be playing our final game of the night. Start things off. It's going to be Consulate and Nighthaven off the board. That doesn't surprise me at all. These two teams, not
Yeah.
exactly the biggest fans of that. Skyscrapers, not surprising as well. Source, a good read by them, banning out a very strong map for 45th Taco Truck and Chalet. And we'll head things down to the end. It's going to be Clubhouse as our map this evening, and it's going to be Source Gaming starting on the defense. How do we feel about that? Do we feel good about Source?
I mean, at the very least, it's a map they should know. Every time I come on here and we see Clubhouse, I complain that it's a little boring because it's something we see a lot, but it's also a map that you should know. At the very least, you shouldn't be able to sit down and go, "Hey, I know this map." Speaking of knowing this map, we're gonna go ahead and get in, and we're gonna see if we know what operator bans. As usual, we're gonna expect a Ying, Dokevi, Solus, and honestly, I'm feeling Mira. Mira's a one that I kind of don't expect, but
Whoa.
Maverick isn't one I expect. I, I'm thrown for a loop here, Navical.
Oh yeah, that's one that you don't really see a lot. Although it does make sense, it is Clubhouse. You've got things such as the platform and the jacuzzi wall that you got to worry about. There's also hatches as well. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Capital ban here. That could be interesting, something that you see on this map. But no, it is going to be the Ying. That's not surprising. I agree with that ban. Ying very strong right now in the meta, one of the more powerful attacking operators. Not surprised that we see her off the board. But remember, that's going to leave a lot of different options on the board for the attack. It's going to leave that Dokubi. It's going to
Yep.
leave things such as the Capitao to help clear out Raptors, which is going to enable the attack to be a lot more powerful than it could have potentially been. And defensively, it's going to be Fenrir off the board first. I agree with that ban as well. It's very good, a very strong operator, can be very lethal when holding down choke points in places such as blue,
Yeah.
such as dirt. Just a very solid ban there overall.
Yeah, and it's also just something you can leave and forget. You can set it up, watch the flank, and with Solus off the board, something not crazy like that Maverick ban. I hope that wasn't a misclick. But yeah, Solus is a pretty easy one. Fenrir, like I said, it's kind of a leave and forget. It's also just really annoying to deal with. You're losing a lot of vision having to deal with it, and you have to waste utility to clear it because